the demand for this Indian indigo, the plant grows primarily in the tropics. Now by the 13th century, Indian indigo was being used by cloth manufacturers in Italy, France and Britain to dye the cloth, to color the cloth. Some amounts of it reached the European market and its price was very high. So the European manufacturers depended on another plant called woad to make violet and blue dyes, being a plant of the temperate zones. Woad was more easily available in Europe. It was grown in the northern Italy. Worried by the competition from indigo, woad producers in Europe pressurized their governments to ban the import of indigo. But that indigo color of India used to give a good color to the cloths. Rich blue color, whereas the dye from woad was pale and dull. French began cultivating indigo in the Caribbean islands, Portuguese in Brazil, English in Jamaica, and Spanish in Venezuela. Indigo plantations came up in many parts of North America. Demand was increasing. British had to industrialize its cotton production, expanded dramatically, creating an enormous new demand for cloth dyes. Foreigners love Indian cotton. Between 1783 and 1789, the production of indigo in the world fell by half. People in Britain looked for more source of indigo supply. Where can they find this? British returns to India. Turns around towards India. Okay. Now the thought, why don't we cultivate it in India? So, indigo cultivation in Bengal expanded rapidly and Bengal indigo came to dominate the world market. In Bengali they say tute color. It's blue. That blue you will not get anywhere in the world. 30% of whatever was imported into England, 1788, was from India. By 1810, it went up to 95%. Now, as the indigo trade rose, people from there started investing into India, into the indigo production. Over the years, many company officials left their jobs to look after their indigo business. Attracted by the prospect of high profits, numerous Scotchmen and Englishmen came to India and became planters. Those who had no money to produce indigo could get loans from the company and the banks that were coming up at that time. There are two systems of indigo cultivation. One was niche and Rioti. Within the system of niche cultivation, the planter produced indigo in lands that he directly controlled. He either bought land or rented it from other zamindars and produced indigo by directly employing hired laborers. Now, under the niche cultivation, they couldn't expand their area. India could be cultivated only on fertile lands, and these were already densely populated. Only small plots scattered over the landscape could be acquired. Planters needed large areas in compact blocks to cultivate indigo plantations. Where could they get such land from? They wanted to remove people staying and make it into agricultural land. nor was labor easy to mobilize. A large plantation required a vast number of hands to operate. Manpower was needed. And labor was needed precisely at a time when peasants were usually busy with the rice cultivation was also there. So everything was in an up and down movement. Niche cultivation also needed a lot of bullocks and plows. 1 bigha of indigo nation required 2 plows. This meant that a planter with 1000 bighas needed 2000 plows. 1 bigha, 2 plows. 10 bigha, 20 plows. 1000 bigha, 2000 plows. Investing on purchase and maintenance of plows was a big problem. Supplies were not there. They couldn't get bullocks and plows because the peasants had already using them on the rice fields. Just same time indigo planters needed them. So people were scared in expanding their area for cultivation. And 25% was only there in this indigo part. The rest was under alternative mode of cultivation, that Rayoti system. Under the Rayoti system, the planters forced the Rayotis to sign a contract and agreement, Satta. At times they pressurized the village headman to sign the contract on behalf of the Rayots. Those who signed the contract got cash advance from the planters at low rates of interest to produce indigo. Okay, but the loan committed the Rayot to cultivating indigo at least 25% of the area under his holding. The planter provided the seed and the drill, while the cultivators prepared the soil, sowed the seed and looked after the crop. This was the main issue. How was it produced? We will come back in the next class and I will tell you how this indigo was produced and what was the lifestyle during that time. Okay. So till then, take care, and we will tell you more about the Indian villages and the people, what happened during that time. Okay. So take care of yourselves, be good, stay home, stay safe, and study according to your times which you have set up. Just read through, understand, make your notes. I'll be also posting notes. Make sure you go ahead on the website and check the download part. Okay, till then, take care. Bye bye. God bless.